Hey, I appreciate you watching Mondays with Mike. Stephanie and I got out of town last week and we went to the beach and hung out with our second son Mac and his wife for part of the time. And we went out on an island and there were people everywhere. And Stephanie wore a hat around that our buddy Fred Davis, retired, there's no such thing as retired Marine, former Marine, gave us to wear. And it really made us think of how grateful we are for the military. July 4th weekend especially, all the people who actively serve in the military, whatever branch it's in, they're actively serving. They're aware that they are in a battle, that they are receiving marching orders from above, and they're to carry out the plan and the mission to the greatest degree of success possible. They get it. They get it, what it means to be a Christian. You know, we're really in an army. Stephanie and I do devotions every day, and this morning's devotion from Greg Laurie, he told a story about a pastor who had a Christian, a guy come to church that thought he was a Christmas Easter Christian. We call them Creasters or CEOers, Christmas and Easter onlyers. And there's a lot of folks who go to church out there that are just CEOers. They're just, you know, they're in the army of the Lord, they think, but they're hardly ever available to be used. And the pastor greeted this guy one time and he said, "Hey, how come I only see you at Christmas and Easter? Don't you know you're in the Lord's army?" And the guy whispered in the pastor's ear, "Well, I'm in the Secret Service." And yeah, it's kind of a funny story. And it was a great illustration that they used in today's devotion. But sadly, it is the way many of us think. Even if you're not a CEO, or even if you're someone who goes to church all the time, you function in the world like a Secret Service Christian. Like you don't want anybody to know that you're in the army. The way you go to work, the way you go to the grocery store, the way you go to the ball game, the way you go through life, you're a Christian, but you're a Secret Service Christian. And that's an oxymoron. It don't work. It don't work that way. None of us are in the Secret Service as a Christian. We're an enlisted soldier that should be obvious to everybody that knows us that we belong to Him. So slow down this week and take the checkup from the neck up and say, "Oh, I'm not a CEO, or I go to church all the time, but do I live like I'm in the Secret Service, or do I live like I'm on a mission from God?" I appreciate you watching Mondays with Mike, and never ever forget, you're greatly loved. I'll see you next week.